Hi everybody, it's nice to see you all again. I happen to be with one of our favorite people today. You may remember him from our first episode, and you may remember him from America's Got Talent Season 15. You won that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Leak.
Hello everybody, welcome to Team Harmony's Hate. What are you going to do?
Thank you, Ellie and Brandon. How come you get to play with Brandon and we don't? Anyways, I'm Julia.
And I'm Angel. Welcome back to part 2 of the status of women here on Team Harmony's Hate. What are you going to do?
Please sure to stay tuned in to this entire episode. You're not going to want to miss what these phenomenal young people are bringing.
For part 2, we'll be looking at stories from Jordan, Egypt, Pakistan, and Colorado here in the US.
But first, let's head over to Jordan, where Rania highlights a campaign that tackles hate against women. It's bringing life-saving awareness to children on the horrors of honor killings.
Jordan, a small country in the Middle East, celebrated for its culture, commitment to tradition and historical landmarks, is also home to one of the highest rates of honor killings in the world.
July 28, 2020 headlines. Father smashes daughter's skull with a concrete block. 30-year-old Ahlam was brutally murdered by her own father after he discovered his daughter's involvement in an illegitimate relationship. Right after, he calmly sat beside her body, smoking a cigarette and drinking tea while waiting for the police to arrive.
November 2019 headlines. Husband gouges out wife's eyes with his own hands. The crime took place right in front of her children, despite her plea to spare one eye so she would be able to see them. The motive? She dared to argue with her husband.
Our campaign focuses on tackling hate against women in our local community. Honor crimes is a pressing issue in the Middle East. However, we were never invested in the injustice and root cause of this matter because of the fact that there wasn't enough awareness targeted towards young children. Thus, we were inspired to raise awareness against gender inequality in our local community.
The past couple of months, we went on a quest to discover what the local citizens think and feel about the role and treatment of women in the Jordanian society. Fortunately, we were able to interview a diverse group of people ranging from women's rights advocates, renowned journalists, teachers, friends, and family members. In this compilation video, you will be able to get an insight on how our community feels about the gender norms and gender inequality in Jordan.
We need to break the taboo. I think that young Jordanian women have started breaking the taboos. There was a campaign, Speak Up, last year maybe, or the year before. We had already done a study, and the study showed that 89% of all those we interviewed had at least once in their lives experienced one form or another of sexual harassment.
I think people who don't know the religion very well maybe can say, oh, because it is religious, that's why women are oppressed. But I think it's more a cultural construct than it is a religious construct.
I mean, you still see a lot of conservative families where the woman is not allowed to get a job and she's not allowed to work outside of the house. It's not about the person anymore, it's about yourself. It's an honor killing, you're protecting the honor of the family.
Unfortunately, you always have people who will carry certain thoughts and ideologies, and it's hard to change it. So we have to focus on encouraging men and women to look at women as human beings with brains, with values. But I think, of course, for the younger generation, you have to keep going after what you believe in. You have to keep fighting for raising awareness and believing that you can make a difference.
Social changes, they can happen in many different ways, but I think education is really, really important. And we have to put that puzzle piece into play.
It's also up to you and the way you want to show up, the way I want to raise my kids, the way I want to be treated as a woman, where you put your boundaries and learn how to put them as you grow up. But I need there to be education for the men also to realize that, in whatever it is, it's a partnership.
Thank you, Rania, for showing us that people can take action right where they are.
Now, let's go to Egypt, where Salma shares a story of a woman who regretted having FGM, female genital mutilation, inflicted upon her daughters, and recounts the dangerous complications.
Hey everyone, this is Salma Abdurrahman, Team Harmony's reporter from Cairo, Egypt. And today we're gonna talk about one of the most serious problems facing girls from all over the world, which is FGM, or female genital mutilation. According to the World Health Organization, FGM is a partial or total removal of female genitalia without a medical necessity. Today, 200 million girls and women from all over the world have experienced FGM, and 3 million girls every year are becoming FGM victims. Reasons why people are doing so are variable. Some people are doing so because it's a social convention and people fear rejection. Some people are doing so because they think it has a religious support, although no religious script has prescribed such an action. Reasons are variable, but at the end, FGM has no benefit, only harm. While I was searching about FGM status in Egypt, I found a story of a woman. She has 2 daughters, and as a social convention, she decided to perform FGM for her older daughter. The girl performed FGM and she had very dangerous complications. She suffered from excessive bleeding and finally she died. The woman regretted what she has done and she decided to tell everyone that FGM has a real medical dangers and it can really lead to death. She decided not to perform FGM for her younger daughter. Life goes on, and when her daughter got married, and when her husband knew that she hasn't performed FGM, the daughter got divorced. The daughter and her mother faced hard hate and rejection just because she hasn't performed FGM, like it's a shame. This story tells us one thing, is that we need to change people's mindset. We need to take an action and fight more against FGM. Good news today is that there are people already doing so. IFMC Egypt, or the International Federation of Medical Students. They are a group of young people. They are making awareness campaign. They go to countrysides where FGM is overspread. They go with religious scientists and religious leaders trying to convince people to stop FGM. Their last campaign was in the metro station named the White Coat Against FGM. They also have very amazing projects supporting FGM victims and telling their partners how they can deal with them. Yes, FGM exists, but at the same time, there is a strong interference from young people trying to eradicate this violence. Thank you for watching.
Good work, Salma. Now we want you to meet our guest, Frida Array. Frida is a real-life princess from Cameroon who, get this, became an immunology and infectious disease specialist with experience in preclinical models for drug and vaccine development. Now, Frida, I'm not too sure what I just said there, so for the people like me who don't know what that means, what does it really mean?
Well, basically what I study or work on is the immune system, which is the army that your body uses to fight against the bad bugs. And the bad bugs for us in infectious diseases are viruses, bacteria, and fungi. That's it.
When did you decide this is what you wanted to study?
Actually, when I was 9 years old was when I decided that I wanted to do something in the medical field and the sciences, age 9.
And how is your upbringing when you were a kid, your childhood? Where did that lead you? How did this bring you to science?
Well, first of all, it's my mom. My mom was into the sciences. She studied mathematics when she was in the University of Yaoundé in Cameroon. And she really encouraged me in the passion for sciences. So basically, a lot of my toys were microscopes, chem sets, geology sets. My dad got me an anatomy jaw where you could open up and put in and out all the organs. And that's basically how my upbringing to encourage a girl into the science field pushed me to where I am today.
So what roadblocks, has there been anything that's kept you from pursuing your goal in science?
My first roadblock would be my inner voice. I have bad imposter syndrome. Sometimes I wondered if I'm the right Frida there, especially being in Germany with all the Fridas around. And the other roadblocks I've encountered is a little bit of like what society view you as or me as. For example, being a woman, being a Black woman, being a dark-skinned Black African woman. So those are the little things that you sometimes have to learn to crawl over or just bargain through.
So how do you wake up every day and have those roadblocks but decide, you know what, no, I'm going to push through it? How do you continue to push through all those roadblocks?
First of all, with my cultural, tribal background and my faith, you think about all those women who have come in front of you and fought so hard and they've passed the baton on to you. So you have to hold that baton tight and run that race because you're also doing it for all the younger girls behind you in whichever country. So I always want to feel that if you're a little girl who is like me, whether you're a Dalit or lower caste, dark-skinned South Indian girl or an Afro-Brazilian, an African-American, or even a girl who lives in the slums of Nairobi or Douala, Cameroon, you see me, you hear my story, you know that I'm forging ahead for you to also come behind me to keep that path open for all the future generations of women coming behind us. And yeah, it's all about the womanhood mostly.
So what would you tell that young woman that's looking up at you and maybe wants to get into science but isn't so sure that they can survive in a male-dominated field?
I will tell her that first of all, listen to your instincts. You know why you want to go into science and you are so unique. So basically what you bring to science is something that no one else will bring. Second thing is look at all the people around you and your environment. There is someone who has that information that can help guide you. And now with the internet, it is much more easier. Just start cold emailing people like crazy. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, any possible mentor you can find. Someone will bite. You just have to believe that someone will bite and help show you the way.
So in your journey so far, what is the single best piece of advice you've ever received?
Single best piece of advice. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. You work so hard. You do so much. Sit down, take time every 3 to 6 months and be like, what have I accomplished? And even if it doesn't look like a lot, it is a lot. So that's the thing. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. So that's the best advice I've been given lately.
Perfect. Frida, thank you so much for joining us. That was awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Now let's go to Laiba in Pakistan, who explains the tradition of early and forced marriages. This act of social injustice hijacks the childhood of millions of girls under the age of 18.
Marriage is a two-way contract and the decision must include commitment from both people getting married. But in various parts of the world, there are millions of young girls who are married without their full consent and are confined to live in a patriarchal system. Yes, I'm talking about early and forced marriages, and this is Laiba Umar. Early marriage is a major violation of human rights, child protection and international laws. This tradition of social injustice rips off childhood from millions of girls under 18, evacuates their basic right of education, snatches their freedom and traps them in the cycle of poverty, where they have no control over their life and are bound to live according to their husbands. All of this results in a higher risk of domestic violence, low literacy rate, an unstable mental and physical health, and an unhappy relationship, gender inequality, and lastly, economic instability.
I was in my matriculation when my marriage was fixed. But I have to study and become a designer. How can I live my life with an unknown guy, 10 to 12 years older than me? How long could I see this happening to me? I wanted to take a step so that tomorrow it doesn't happen to someone else. So I spoke to my mother, but she was also extremely terrorized by my family. We were threatened with eviction. What's the point of a relationship that doesn't involve me and my will? I broke the chain so no one else suffered this injustice.
Pakistan has the 6th highest number of child brides in the world, where 21% of them are married before they turn 18 and 3% are married even before 15. The problem gets worse when people don't even consider early or child marriage an issue, hence no consideration is given to age during legal paperwork.
My name is Fatma Chaddar and I am the chairperson Punjab Women Protection Authority. The minimum age for a girl to get married in Punjab is 16 and we know it is still very young. Before getting married, first of all, her education must be completed. She should know her rights. If she would know her rights, definitely she wouldn't tolerate violence against her. She will be independent and can earn her living. There are many skill development institutions and some industries that teach girls life earning skills and help them to be financially independent. We are strongly encouraging that the minimum age of the girl to marry should be 18.
It is estimated that the end of child marriage in Pakistan can lead to a $6,229 million raise in earning and productivity. As an individual, we can take minimal steps to stop this bigotry, such as raise awareness about children and women rights in your community, educate families about sexual and mental health, help girls in getting education and support them in becoming financially independent. Last but not the least, and the most important one, demand your government for the law enforcement. It's not the time to stay silent anymore against hate and social injustice. Recognize your privilege and use it to stand for the oppressed, because together we can make it a better place for everyone.
Nice job, Liba. Thank you very much. Now, let's turn to Maya in Colorado, here in the US, for a more uplifting piece. She explains that although we have female engineers to thank for many inventions, women pursuing science, technology, engineering, and math fields still face a lot of discrimination.
This is Maya, reporting from Colorado in the United States. But without the camera lens I'm using to record this video, the Wi-Fi you're streaming it on, and the computer algorithm that gets it from my lips to your ears, I wouldn't be reporting at all. And for each of those inventions, we have female engineers to thank. But women pursuing science, technology, engineering, and math fields face a lot of discrimination.
It goes all the way back to when I was in school and being discouraged, even as a senior in high school, wanting to pursue engineering and having one of my teachers pull me aside and say, you know, you really ought to think about something else. That's probably not for you.
That is Wendy Merchant, a woman who is fighting the discrimination women face in STEM fields by educating youth. She's the founder and executive director of an organization called STEM Blazers.
I worked for 20 years in the industry as a mechanical engineer. And while I was focusing on opportunities for robotics and engineering and coding for my son, I found that there were very few young ladies who were engaging in these opportunities. And so I started to do some research. And basically when you got into, any kind of computer engineering, technology, coding, anything like that, the number of women choosing those careers and working in them were in the single digits. And so I felt very strongly that I needed to encourage the next generation of young women to pursue a career in STEM, especially engineering. And I'm very passionate about that. If I can do it, I know there's so many amazing, talented girls out there who are absolutely capable of doing it.
By providing hands-on learning opportunities, STEM Blazers is making STEM fields more accessible to women, and their work is changing lives.
This young lady who was a senior, and then when I reached back out to her a year later, she said, because I was able to see and hear from somebody who you wouldn't think could make their way in the tech industry and Silicon Valley. And we had a very young speaker. After she shared her message, this high school student decided that she will be graduating with a computer science degree and working in cybersecurity. She had the experience. She became passionate. She's like, you know what? I can do this too. And that's what we want to do. We want to inspire girls to really pursue what it is that they really are excited about, even when the world tells you that, hey, that's not a traditional career for a girl, or you're not going to do very well at it. We help change that course of direction for her.
At the end of the day, STEM Blazers is proving sexist stereotypes wrong by empowering youth.
You can do anything that you want to do. It's not a brain function issue. It's not that we don't have the same ability to solve problems than males do. It's building your confidence and surrounding yourself with people who want to lift you up, and realize that you don't have to change who you are if you want to be a software engineer or a mechanical engineer. Be true to yourself. Your voice is missing, and STEM industries need women. We need that unique perspective.
Thanks, Maya, for ending our show on a positive note. Incredible work.
Empowered women, empower women.
Empowered women, empower women.
Empowered women, empower women.
Opełnomocnienie żeńskie, opełnomocnienie żeńskie.
Las mujeres empoderadas empoderan a otras mujeres.
Empowered women, empower women.
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 Remember, if you've missed any of our previous episodes, you can check them out at teamharmonyfoundation.org.
Well, folks, that's all for Season 1 of Team Harmony's Hate, What Are You Going to Do? We've had so much fun making the show, but hope you've had a better time watching it. There's a lot of stuff coming up in the future, so please continue to check out our website, and we'll see you soon.